Okay, hope my volume's loud enough. Okay, don't want to hear myself. Go away. So today we're gonna look into creating a user registration with Supabase. We're gonna ask for some additional details. So if you know about Supabase sign up process, it normally takes just a email and a password. But in our sign up that we're building for this fake Instagram or Instagram clone, we require the full name and your username along with your email and password. So I guess let's move over to, oh wait, you couldn't have seen my screen. Huh. Right, so yeah, what I was saying earlier, Supabase requires just your email and password when you're signing up. That's all your sign up function takes. But what we're building, we require a full name, username, as well as email and password. So I'm going to show you how you can accomplish this with Supabase. It's relatively easy, I think, once you know how to. It's in knowing how to, which is what I'm going to cover, the knowing how to. Okay, so let's dive into the code. So I already started off creating some migration scripts. So I normally use migrations to set up my Supabase stuff. So I created a migration for profiles, which is going to hold our username, full name, and some additional information. So just to be clear as to why we're creating profiles, normally in Supabase, when you create an account, it adds the user to this user section. However, the table that this user section belongs to is in a different schema called a auth schema, right? And what we don't want to do is edit that schema. We don't want to ever edit any tables within schemas that were created by Supabase themselves. So hence why we're creating our own table called profiles inside of the public schema, right? So now we can make changes or additional information that we want to save in here. What we have to do, however, is reference back to something in the auth users table, right? So we have to reference ID in here so we know whose data this is that we're saving, whose additional data this is that we're saving. So yeah, I guess here we have that. So I think, so I said I have this already set up. We already have validation and stuff set up in here. Doesn't go anywhere right now. What we need to do is, I reckon if we go to our sign up, account auth, sign up, and where's our form? Okay, we have to go to our sign up form. And right now I'm just console logging out whatever the user enters, right? So I normally create functions somewhere in my project to deal with database related stuff. So I create a directory called data. In here I have queries. So I guess this is related to users, we could say. Yeah, I think it's a user related query. Or should we say auth? I think auth. Okay, let's create a new file here called auth.js. And in here I'd create my function. So I'll export const sign up equal async function. We're gonna take a username, full name, email, password. These are the things that we require. Let's create a variable that's gonna, so this variable call Supabase .auth.sign up Okay, so here we can see it takes email, password. Optionally, you can pass phone number as well. So we're gonna add our email, password. Oh, something's wrong up here. Const, right. Ignore the squiggly lines. It's ESLint complaining about unused variable names. So yeah, declared but never read or used. So we'll just leave that how it is for now. I want to say if there's no error, then we'll return. I've created these things I call mappers, which is just a way to keep my my messages formatted nicely. Email for yeah. I want to say if there was an error, I'm going to return the error mapper. Error message and error code, I guess. Let's keep that 400 for now. Okay, so this would be our normal default way of doing things with Supabase if we're just using email and password. But since we're passing additional data, there is an additional parameter here, which is some options. And in here, there is a data property. Now, this data property will add some additional data into the auth users table and save it as a JSON column, right? So in here, we can put in our username and our full name. Yeah, actually, let's get rid of data because we're not doing anything with data. We just want to check if there's an error. Right, so our username and our full name. Or actually, let's put back data. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just console log it, so we can see what it looks like. So we pass along our username and our full name to this sign up to the additional data. So what's said and what the Supabase documentation says is it's fine to use this to pass along information that's specific to a user, but when it comes on to querying that data, it's best to have it in its own table. So that's why we're creating this profile table, because it'll just be a lot more easier to query this data and to do lookups on this data and so forth. Go back to our auth. Hold on, I need to check. No message on the stream. Okay, fine. So let's now set this function up inside of our sign up. So in here, we're gonna, let's uncomment these lines. So we're gonna pass in username, full name, email, password. Now we just want to display a message or something, right? Also, this loading thing doesn't exist anymore in this setup. I think for now we'll just log the response. Won't show anything on screen. We'll just log some of this stuff out. Let's get rid of some of this. So okay, looks good, looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through signing up without having our additional table as yet, just so that we can look at what the data looks like and where it goes. So Andrew Smith, easy launcher. Yep, that same email. Go away. Just let me enter the email. Okay. Okay, whatever. Password. I'm not gonna remember what it is, so let's just do password 123 or password 1, because I'm not gonna remember 123. And let's open our console just to make sure that this is working. What? I'm hoping those were old errors. Sign up. I don't think that worked. Gonna refresh the page. I don't think some of that went through. Required. Okay, so there's an error. Hence. Ooh, what is this? Why did it try to do require instead of an import? I'm gonna manually do the import. Imports. SvelteKit, why are you failing me? Okay, guessing it loaded this time around. Let's go again. Why do I have to keep on? Don't allow this. Oh, just leave me alone. Oh, yeah, one password. How do I tell you to go away? Okay, so we can see our username, blah, 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 password. This is the data that came back from the server. So this is what came back from Supabase. This is the payload. So we can see that it created our user. And here's the additional data. It's stored on the user metadata, right? So the full name is there and the username is there. So those are all saved. If I go to the Supabase UI, we can see our user is there. We're still waiting for verification. However, we can't see the additional data in here. And if we go to our table editor, well, because it's in the auth schema isn't visible inside of table editor. What I can do is open that up and let me get my SQL editor open. Okay. So I'm looking at the auth table here. So I've just logged into the database as a Postgres user. So if I open that table, we should have our additional data here. So you see there's a column called raw user metadata, which is where it stores that information as JSONB type, right? So let's get rid of you. So how do we now get that into our table that we want to create, into our profile table? we'll have to create a function and a trigger, right, to get that working. So let's open it up. So we'll create function, handle new profile. Probably should call it handle new user, but yeah, this works as well. Returns, trigger as $, begin. Insert into our public profiles. So user G, full name. What else was their username? Wait, what are the columns? Gotta open this side to side so I can see. This user ID, username, full name. Yeah, that's all I wanna insert, and the values are new dot ID, which is, so new dot ID would be the user that was just created, ID. We come back over here, so that would be this ID here. So that's what we're referencing. We're saying new ID. Now this is where it gets a bit different, because we're trying to get data from a JSON-B column type. So we'll call the column name raw user metadata. So this syntax is what Postgres uses to get to select a item inside of a JSON-B column. So we'll put that here and we'll say full name. I'm just going to copy that because I don't want to type it all out again. And press the right keys on the keyboard, hopefully. Username, right? So we're saying we're going to pull that from, where's our bespoke? So we're saying, we're saying we're getting the raw user metadata, and slash arrow is saying full name, which is the key, username, which is also the key. So it's going to get the values for those keys. Return new end. So that's our trigger. Let's create our down. Let's just drop. Oh, that's our function actually. Drop function if exists. Handle new profile, the end. So that's our function that should run. Now we need to create a trigger that will trigger that function. And even though I'm doing this inside of some migrations here, you could just as well do this inside of the Supabase UI. You could just use the where is it, SQL? The SQL Editor. And you could write all this, you know, inline inside the SQL Editor. You could just write it all here, right? It's more or less the same thing. It's just that I prefer to work with migration files, because it means that I can roll back, I can, you know, add new changes. If I move to a new environment, I have all those, all the migrations, I can run them again on a new environment. So create trigger on auth user created after cert on auth users. I'll explain this after I'm done. You know what? Why am I writing all these in uppercase? Yes, you people who like to write the syntax correctly, I know you're gonna hate me now because I'm putting everything in lowercase, but it means one less key I have to press. I have to be pressing the shift key each time I'm about to type something, or the caps lock. Okay, so to explain what this is doing, what we're saying is we're creating a trigger. This is the name that we've given the trigger. It's called onAuth user created. So this could be anything you want. You know, this is user defined. And then we're saying to it that the trigger should happen after an insert has happened on the auth user stable. So after the user has been created inside of this table, we should now do whatever this trigger is saying to do. So we're saying for each row, execute this procedure, right? So call this function for each row. So that's what this is going to do. So now let's run our migration, because these are just on my machine at the moment. pnpm, migration up. Why does it always fail when I'm on a stream? Oh my gosh, not this again. How did I fix this the last time? Oh. This happened to me the last time I was on a stream. Why? Why am I being hated? But you know what? That's not gonna stop us today. What I'm gonna do, see now my migrations can't run right now. And as I was saying earlier, you could do all this from within where? The Supabase UI. So I'm just gonna copy, paste, because it's just all just SQL, right? Run, done. So now if I go to my table editor, I should have that table. So I have my profiles table. Yep. Have all the columns and stuff there. Go back to SQL. Where's the other one? I'm gonna run this alter. I could have run all these in one go, but just doing it one by one, just to show you. As I said, you can do everything from here. I'm not gonna let my migrations be the cause of me not being able to get this done. Same with our function, copy. I reckon let's just copy the trigger as well at the same time. So paste our function, paste our trigger. What? Undetermined local string near the begin. What are you complaining about? What is it complaining about? Return trigger as because we're missing some bits. How about now? That fixed? No? What am I missing? What is it complaining about? Let's remove that again. Is it this? Because I have these things in quotes. Let's try. Nope. What are you complaining about? You know what, I'm gonna change all that to lowercase because I don't know if maybe when I written it uppercase I'm written something wrong. No, same error. Create function public handle new profile. Return trigger as begin insert into public profile user ID full name values. What is going on? Why is it? What is it complaining about? What doesn't it like? What don't you like? Was it indentation? Nope. Let's remove you. Don't know what it's complaining about here at all. I'm gonna copy similar function I have without the JSON stuff and see if that works. So that one works. Why? I need to drop that. Okay, got rid of it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to keep all of that except the internal bits, so the insert. That worked. What is different with that? I don't know, but you know what? Let's just copy it, put it here. That is the working version. So, okay, so now we have our function created. Our trigger is missing. We removed that, didn't we? So now let's create this trigger as well. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Yeah. It's called new. The name is different. So the function that was created before, because I copied and pasted from old function name, it was called handle new user. So I changed it to handle new profile. And let's actually drop that handle new user. We don't want it. And now we're gonna run our what you call it, trigger again. So the trigger should work now. Yep, so that's saved. Right. I think Supabase now has a place here where you can view triggers that you have set up. So if I go over to triggers, well, the trigger is not showing, but the function is showing up. So that's the function that we created. You can see it there. You could have created the function from within the UI here as well. To be honest, I haven't tried this feature out myself, so that's why I didn't use it. I normally just create it via SQL, because I haven't tried out that at all. So okay, so now let's go back to our sign up flow again. Let's create a new sign up. Okay, let's refresh. Andrew S, username, easy answer 1. So original. Easy answer. We can't use the same email for sure. Just put plus dev. and then password 1. Let's clear our console, clear our network, sign up. Okay, and this seems to have all gone through. Ooh, wait, my camera just went. Gonna switch camera. Well, the camera went, don't know what happened. Okay, so that went through. Let's check inside of here if we have that new user. So we have our new user there. Still waiting for verification because the email should be sent. And now if we go to our table editor. Ooh, that didn't work. What went wrong? Did not add in these fields. So full name. Oh wait, no, it did add in the username, but the full name, no. Why was that? I think I know why. It's because the format that this is, and if we go and look back at my function, I'm gonna edit the function in here for sure. It's full underscore name, but it's not, that's not how it's saved in the JSON node. So if we look, where is our beekeeper? It's full, it's camel case, right? It's full with name, uppercase N for name. So that's why that didn't save. Let's confirm this. So we've updated that now. Let's try again. Full name. Use the answer 2. Plus dev2 at Gmail. And password 1. Let's go again. So that was sent through. If we go back to our authentication section, we should see our new user added in here. Come on. It's taking long. Is my internet gone? Let's refresh. So here's our new user that we just signed up. So if we go to our table editor, and now we actually have the full name as well as the username, right? So that's how you go about, signing up with a full name and a username with Supabase. So we have that data now inside of our table that takes additional data. So if we need any more additional data like country, we have a column there. We can add new columns to this table. So this is like our extended table that would extend the user themselves. So instead of messing with the auth user table and trying to modify columns or add new columns, you just create your own table in the public schema. Because the problem with adding more columns in here is that if the Supabase team decides that, hey, we're gonna change up how the schema for this table works, or change this whole schema from auth to something else, if they should decide that they want to do some maintenance work or some sort of security patch or something that they've seen wrong with the way how this was designed, you stand a chance of losing your data. As in the column that you'd have added, you stand a chance of losing that because they could remove it for whatever reason. So it's best to create stuff in a public schema, and make all your modifications there. So yeah, there you have it. Have my function, have my table. So my table, have my user. And I reckon that's it. So yeah, catch you next time when I'm streaming again.